Well, hello there. I know it has been such a long time since I've posted any content or any videos. I apologize. I've been super busy. Well, not really super busy. We kind of took some time off. My family and I decided that we'd take a month or so off during this summer. I know summer is probably the time to really be reselling, especially here in Vermont. But we thought, you know what? The grandkids don't get to see their grandparents very often. So, and they live on the other side of the country in northern Utah. So we jumped in our vehicle and we drove across the country, spent a month with them. But I'm back, ready to resell, ready to do some more locker finds. But today's video is not a locker video. Actually, today's video is kind of an accident. I was in my storage and I was going through stuff, getting garbage out, and so I had to go to my local transfer station. While at my local transfer station, I was throwing stuff out, but I noticed one of the employees who I know, he was down there going through stuff, and I said, "Oh, what did you find?" And he's like, "Well, I'm reading this letter. It's all in German. It looks like it's from World War II." And then all of a sudden he picked up this little case, and he's like, "I got this," and he opened it, and I could see from up where I was at, because I was up above throwing trash down, I could see the war medals, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Purple Heart." And I was like, "Well, if they're throwing a Purple Heart away, I'll take that." And he's like, "No, I think I'll keep this one in my collection." Well, anyway, long story short, is that how it goes? Anyway, long story short, he had a bunch of ephemera stuff, and I was saying to him, "Hey, you know what? Ephemera could actually have some value. It's like, would you be okay if I came down and kind of went through some of this stuff?" Because I guess his family just said, "You know what? This is all my." I don't know what the situation was 100%, but I think that they were just overwhelmed. And they didn't go through any of this stuff, and they just threw it out because it was like their grandfathers or their fathers who had passed away. And so he was kind of digging through it, and he was finding some amazing stuff, like the Purple Heart. He found some cool old, like very old bullets from World War II, and just some really neat stuff. And so, you know, a little jealous there of that. But at the same time, I was like, "Well, that's really cool. You found some great stuff." But he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, look through some of this stuff." We were just going to throw this stuff out. And so he let me take it. So let me show you what I was able to grab. Kind of wish I'd grabbed a couple more boxes, but I didn't want to be stingy. But let me show you what I found. First off, I got a box full of these plates. Now, this isn't anything fancy or anything, but I mean, they got a nice look. They're kind of like that blue glass look almost. And they look to be foreign, but they're all just Christmas plates from different years. So like from the 60s and 70s. So there's one with the goose scene. But yeah, so these boxes here all have the same. And I thought, you know what? I can put these in my booth, $5 a pop, and I got them for free. So that's not bad, right? So kind of a cool find. And then there was this little mailbox here. He just had sitting there. I'm like, "Are you going to throw that out?" He's like, "Yeah, I was just going to put that in metal scrap." So it's not cast iron, I don't think, but it's got that cast iron look. But it's just kind of a cool piece. So I grabbed that while I was there. And he also threw this in the box of like all the ephemera stuff, which I was kind of shocked. I'm like, "Wait, you don't want to keep those?" And he's like, "No, I don't have a use for them." Because I kind of recognize them. They look to me, I could be wrong, but they look like World War I spurs. They look military and probably from about World War I. But I could be wrong. I haven't found any markings on the straps. But yeah, you guys can tell me. Maybe I'm totally off, but still, they look old and they're cool. So pretty much everything else I have is just ephemera, and it's photos of this one person's life, really. I mean, it has some photos of like the parents and that stuff, but most of the photos I think are of him growing up through life. And man, was he a sharp dresser. So yeah, just some cool stuff. There is in like an armed force, I don't know if that's a scout or like a little, like, it almost looks like a armed forces uniform to me, but it wouldn't be because he's a kid there. But there is footage, there one is, he went to he fought in World War II, he was injured. I sure wish I would have walked home with that Purple Heart that the employee had there, but what a great find for him. But ephemera can be, subjective. But I think this is the type of stuff people are looking for, the old cars, armed forces, just some cool stuff. Look at this, like right here, this guy on the trike. That's just cool. And I don't know if that's a Halloween costume or something. Just some amazing old photos. And like I said, for me, more than anything, I just wanted to keep this out of the landfill. And, so what I'll do is probably lot this all up into one lot, the ephemera. I'll probably sell the postcards separate, but the ephemera of this one gentleman and his family, I'll probably put into one lot and hopefully preserve his history a little bit. Yeah, over here is a stack of papers and letters. This is actually a Western Union where a notification was sent to his family that he'd been injured in World War II, which is proof that he had a Purple Heart, which I know somebody found. I wish it was me. But yeah, and then there's other letters. There's actually letters in here where talking about how he was a salesman for a plastic plant or a plastic company somewhere. I don't know if it was Kansas City or Oklahoma. And he had to resign because Rubbermaid had come into the area and it just was, he couldn't sell because the competition was too great. So he's like, I have to find new work. So it's just history. It's just a story. Sorry if my camera works a little crazy. Of this gentleman, and hopefully, like I said, I'll sell this in a lot and somebody can preserve his story. So yeah, I think some pretty cool finds, especially since I was not even really picking. I was just getting trash out of my storage, trying to get things organized so I could start reselling again. So I'm really grateful. And I think a big part of the reason that I was even able to, step down there and look at the stuff and, go through the stuff and then let me take the stuff is because I've built a pretty good relationship with the people, the employees there at the transfer station. I've been going there for years and I use the mantra, stay kind, a little kindness goes a long way. And I really mean that. And so we've grown a relationship over the last 2 years that I've been doing this. And so I've gotten to know them. They tell me stories. I tell them stories about, life. They tell me stories about the great finds they get because people just throw stuff away. Like today, like this family really just threw stuff away because they just didn't want to go through it. They just threw away. There was probably a storage locker or something else of their dads or granddads, and they just let it go. So because of that, and because the relationship I built with these employees at the transfer station, sorry, my brain's not working right now. But anyway, because of that, I've built up that relationship where they're like, hey, we do have this stuff. This isn't actually the first time that I've taken stuff from the transfer station. There's been a couple times where they've approached me saying, hey, we have this item. Would you be interested? And, I say yes or no if I am. So, yeah. So, again, kindness really does go a long way. So it paid off for me today. I think they're cool finds. Let me know what you think. Not so cool. But I just think it's cool history personally. And I hope that we can preserve it, that somebody else can take it, preserve it, and really just keep this person's story alive. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, I guess. I'm just glad that I was able to create some content, be it that it's short content. But I'm just glad to be back, and there will hopefully be more videos in the future. So yeah, just if you haven't hit like, share, subscribe, then you'll get those notifications that I am posting content. So yeah, all that stuff. But I'm grateful for you watching as always, and I'm gonna end it the same way I always end it. Stay kind. A little kindness goes a long way. Peace.